Don't tell us. Nobody knows. I saw Gene Gudeman. I said, "You're in the network. What happened?" He said, "I was going to ask you." Nope. They have got it locked down. It'll come up eventually.
Oh, sure. Children's Museum? What happened there?
Yeah. We're a little more public than that. Oh, you mean what did happen
Yeah,
there?
yeah. Because
You did your job.
oh, okay. Because that was a well-kept secret.
Yeah, she wasn't a good manager, and frankly, I think Gary was letting it go a little bit. And,
Well, you know,
and then
can't do that.
when Pam went in as acting, saw what was going on. She's like, "Oh my God!"
You
You
want
know, our numbers were down.
Pam's tough.
Yes, she is.
That's not bad.
What time were we on? 20 till?
Nobody told me, but Jeff Fritzen told me 20 till.
You're kind of out of the loop on this, huh? 6:40.
Here's kind of an intro. I don't know who's going to say it. I didn't know it was a
I know he just passed it off to Jeff.
Okay. And here's.
Oh, you can, on one sheet, I had to print different
Oh, no,
pieces
no,
of
no.
paper to get it.
And these, we've got everybody on there, so, yep.
It's probably going to
And this is just, you don't.
I'm pretty sure- now, don't quote me
obviously
on
don't-
that.
I won't read this and we'll deviate, but
Hey,
at least
Mark.
you've got the numbers.
Okay,
to look
yeah,
at.
Okay.
All right.
Here, is that totally you know,
It's
it's front.
and again, you need to talk to Bill because that's their project. He's right out there. But it's, no, it's not just mental health. It's all health services.
And it's really what's going on tonight is just a real estate transfer. We have checks. They're all lined up right
Are you ready? Which one starts first?
I don't know.
It's that one. Brass band, and then that whole row, and then start with this whole row.
Yeah, right.
Gather them up.
Okay.
One team that's
Like that.
Are you on the wrong side? Is this the side you
somewhat
want to be on?
decent, and the rest
Oh,
of
I
them are
don't
all
All right.
This is Paul's show.
This is, Maureen's going to be
Doing photographs?
taking some photos.
Okay.
You might want to sit over here if he's going to be here.
Well, I'm going to move around, Maureen. So I'll be on the move.
It says he's moving around.
You know,
may
because
have
if they
to-
come from that side, I'm going to walk over there. If they come from this
Okay,
side, I'll
just
be
all
over
around
here.
the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but just hesitate, you know, and smile. You
Yep.
rip, we grin.
Yep. Yeah, I've been to that rodeo before. We'll give them a couple more minutes.
It's time, 6:38.
6:40.
I know, I told them to be here at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
If they aren't here by now. I'll make sure there's nobody in the hallway that should be.
Although we're 1 minute away, according to my watch.
Well, we have the clock on the wall.
Yeah. That's usually the one we go by.
Oh, okay, well,
I should have cleaned my glasses. Good evening, everyone. We know why you're here. It's the Harmon Arts Grant annual distribution. This is a granting process that for the arts in our community that was started by Paul Harmon when he was mayor of the town of Normal, and that's how it got its name, of course.
well, I didn't name it.
You didn't?
No, I
You
didn't. It was named when I retired by the
Oh,
next
okay.
council.
All right. What was it before the Harmon Arts Grant?
Arts grants.
The Arts Grant. Okay. So there's a little bit of history on the Harmon Arts Grant for everybody here tonight. This is a very important a project and undertaking for the town of Normal because what the arts does for our community can't be measured in dollars, but I know a lot of you out there know the dollars help. So we're glad to be a part of that. And Paul, I'm going to turn it over to you. Paul's going to talk a little bit about the grant recipients, and we'll hand out some awards.
And we had $115,000 in applications. We had 34 applications. And we only had $50,000. So, so you have to cut back on the number. We recommended 22 organizations for arts grants. So, yes, let's get going. Brass Band of Central Illinois, Stan Kane. Okay. This is a $1,000 grant for holiday concert on December 5. So to help subsidize the concert, David Davis Mansion, Kathy Connolly. Oh, there she's way in the back.
Yeah.
You can't really see her over the chairs. This is David Davis Mansion, $1,350 for a grant to fund a one-man show by Robert Davis, who portrays a Civil War soldier. It'll be done at the Normal Theater. Heartland Theater Company, $2,500. Gail Dobbins, Reese Lovell, Managing Director, Artistic Director, and this was for the one-act play festivals that they do every July at Heartland. Thank you. These are original plays, and it's really what Heartland was founded over 30 years ago to do, so this is sort of part of the Heartland tradition, doing original play readings. ISU Concerts on the Quad, Lori Merriman, $2,900 to help with Concerts on the Quad. These are 5 free concerts, 5 Mondays in July, less in June, and these concerts serve probably a couple thousand people at these free concerts over the summer. So, and my wife and I attend, we like them, so I recommend them to all of you. ISU Creative Drama and Puppetry, Lori Merriman. ISU doesn't send different people for everything. This is a $2,000 grant for the Creative Drama and Puppetry program at ISU to 2 5-week intensive drama theater classes for local children of Bloomington Normal area during the 2015-2016 academic year. ISU Horticultural Center, Jessica Chambers, I know she's here, $1,500. This will be used to help purchase signs, plant materials, benches for the Literacy Garden project, and the fact that her husband used to be on the council and is
Had nothing to do with it.
and currently state's attorney has nothing to do with this grant. ISU School of Music, Music for All, $2,000. Lori Merriman. This grant will fund musical programs and less formal concerts for an audience with exceptionalities, children who would not otherwise get to attend these kinds of concerts, and that they're specially arranged for these kinds of children, and have been quite successful for the last several years. ISU Midwest Institute of Opera, John Cox. John, yes, $3,000. This is Bloomington Normal's real opera company, and it performs every summer at ISU, and I would recommend it. It's really quite good. So it's very busy this year. The ISU School of Music String Project, $3,000. Dr. Ransom. This is a grant that provides low-cost, high-quality instruction on stringed instruments to children in 3rd through 8th grades, and a new partnership with Heartland Head Start will target disadvantaged children. So, a lot of what you see we do is aimed at children or seniors and trying to help on a lot of our grants to keep down the cost of attendance at different. ISU senior professionals, Joe Porter, Peggy Scott. This is $1,400, and it's for a new film exploration project, a series of films and documentaries that address pertinent social issues with commentary afterwards. While it's being done by senior professionals, I'm sure it'll be open to more than just the senior professionals if you wish to attend. ISU, and that'll be at the Normal Theater. ISU Shakespeare Festival Shakespeare, Kevin Rich. This was our only $5,000 grant, which is the maximum we give. This is to bring witches, ghosts, monsters, and villains from Shakespeare's work alive to new audiences at Halloween out at Ewing Manor. It was extremely successful last year, sold out, and so get your tickets early if you want to attend. Illinois Symphony Orchestra, $4,000, Larry Egan. Larry, he's not here. Larry Egan is not here. This is to fund musician cost and travel, administrative fees, marketing for a series of free small ensemble concerts, especially for senior citizens, held at various localities. Illinois Theater Consortium, $550, Judy Brown. I haven't seen Judy.
I haven't seen
either.
Judy either.
Okay, Judy Brown. Okay, we know both Larry and Judy, so they're in trouble.
Yep.
This grant will fund poet fees for Words on Quilts, 7 new and original poems composed and performed for 7 new barn quilts celebrating Barn Quilt Heritage Trail in McLean County. Illinois Chamber Music Festival, $1,500, Shireen Schrock. The Illinois Chamber Music Festival performances are free, open to the public. This grant will offset the cost of the annual children's concert and concerts for residents of assisted living facilities and churches. IWU Civic Orchestra, come back, Shireen Schrock. $1,500. This grant will help offset the cost of the orchestra's 4 annual public performances and provide support for a junior master class of conducting at the Children's Discovery Museum. IWU Prairie Fire Theater, $3,500. I don't know, are we supposed to identify you with IWU or not?
It's a long story.
Robert Mangialardi. This will help subsidize children's one-act opera tour in partnership with IWU. Performances will take place at 35 to 40 schools and libraries throughout central Illinois. McLean County Arts Association, $3,000, Doug Johnson. I don't see him here either. Okay. This grant will pay for 15 art workshops at the Normal Public Library over the course of several weekends in the summer and fall of 2015. Workshops will be completely free of charge to community members, including low-income families. It's nice to see that you support the library. I wish the library supported you. Editorial comment. Penguin Project of McLean County, $1,500, Barb Wells. The Penguin Project will cast 40 individuals with disabilities in a selected show in 2016. The grant money will be used for royalties to present the show and production costs, including sets, drops, and costumes. Share the Music, Mark Miller, and he is here, $1,000. This is really a special program where this money goes to refurbish musical instruments, which are then furnished to children in music programs who cannot otherwise afford an instrument. Sound of Illinois, $1,800, Herb Burdett. Herb, okay. This grant defrays costs associated with Youth in Harmony project serving 400 to 500 area youth at a free annual workshop and performance.
And get your hand shaken here.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, Twin Cities Ballet, Julie Whiteman. Okay. We have been helping to underwrite the Nutcracker at Christmas by Twin City Ballet for as long as I can remember. I think they've had a grant every year, as far as I can remember. We may have missed you 1 year and all of that, I don't know. USA Ballet, Ken Bello. This also is a $3,000, both of the ballet grants were $3,000, and this one will fund the ballet summer dance project, provide free tickets to performances, fund an outreach program to the Unity Community Center in Normal, and provide scholarships to participants with financial needs. And those are our grants this year. Thank you. I would be remiss for every year, I always try to thank the council and the mayor for continuing this program, which I consider an outreach of the Parks and Recreation program. It adds more diversity to the programming that the town can help to support. So I would just like to thank you again, Mayor, for continuing the program.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all the grantees and the applicants for the work you do with the dollars you get or don't get. I know it's always tight, and you do it out of passion, so thank you for doing that for our community.
Record time. Record time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to do it before.
Okay, I'll tell Helen, they're out there, so that'll work out. And that's what Andrew might understand. Tell Heather.
Okay.
I must have talk about some sales and marketing things. I wanted to share those with all the employees because of how close everything is. I try to do things that give them a flavor of here's what your salespeople deal with every day. You know, when we're trying to bring work in, look at these bids. They're really close. And if it wasn't for a preferential treatment for local vendors, I think one of them we wouldn't have gotten. And stuff. So, I was digging around, couldn't find it, and I thought, geez, I think this is too efficient.
Right.
I'm usually not that efficient. Just a test. So,
There you go.
Little nutrition there in case the meeting goes anywhere.
Yeah,
They've got a presentation.
Kevin, that side.
Okay, I think. I came out of my office into a little sprinkles, but
I heard that it rained out.
not much. It
I tend
wasn't.
not to go outside.
Pardon?
I tend not to leave. If I leave, I don't watch.
how about you? Fine, thanks.
Well, then when I was out here,
You here for the event tonight?
I'm here for Drew to read. You know, yes.
I believe he's supposed to. There he is. Just walking down the island.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keep it down, sir. Keep it down.
hey, how you doing?
Yes, very nice. Mr. I saw you in the summer.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Exciting.
I was gonna say,
Hi, how are
a lot of
you?
animals, illegal, animals.
I'm okay, I think.
Lighting.
Saw rainbows. It was all different.
There's a rainbow out there?
There was.
I will.
Yeah. Yeah, it had stopped by the time I got here, and there was this pretty rainbow right out there.
It stretches all the way down to the Capitol.
There you go, that would be good.
Really good.
Really good, that pot of gold.
Pot of gold, we could use it.
Oh, God. I did all mine online, so I never know what's in here.
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't end up with
You know, somebody's absent. Sit down and vote. Somebody's absent if you want to vote.
I might have a chance to that tomorrow.
All right.
championship.
Good.
200 hitter at shortstop.
Well, I don't know. Let's find out what he voted on
I was going to
first.
say.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you, Scott?
How are you?
As long as it doesn't cost too much.
How are you guys? Talking baseball over here?
Did you see the Wall Street Journal on Friday?
Yes.
The personal journal section, the lead article was why I'm afraid. The guy, the Cub fan that wrote it, he says,
First
why-
doctor wasn't
why I'm afraid
the answer.
for the Cubs
His
to win.
mentor, who we thought we would get.
It's just, he just talks about how it's just a little more comfortable to stay in that cocoon of things.
Kind of take our thumb away, you know, I mean.
In 1985, I was telling all the Cub fans, I said, you really don't want to do it because it'll ruin you. Because all you'll want to do is win. I said, I know because my team has won. And they haven't won. They'd like to I mean, not me. So we'll just come down division win. That's fine. So you got to at least get to the series. At least win the pennant. Oh, my microphone's on. I hope I didn't offend any Cub fans out there.
You got everybody?
Got everybody.
Oh, Kathleen's not down. What am I thinking?
Sure.
Call to order a regular meeting for the normal local liquor commission. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Coos?
Here.
Mr. Fritzen?
Here.
Mr. Preston?
Here.
Mr. McBride?
Here.
Mrs. Lorenz is not here. Mr. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Gaines?
Here.
We have approval of minutes for the regular meeting of March 16th, 2015, and approval of minutes for special meetings on April 6th, 2015, and April 20th, 2015.
Move approval.
Thank you. Are there changes or additions on the minutes? Let's see. Please call the roll.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Coos?
Aye. We have two other items of business. The first, we have two complaints and citations, both of which have been settled. The first is Kroger Limited Partnership at 1550 East College. The partnership furnished alcohol to a person under 21 years of age. The stipulation, guilty plea, and settlement agreement was reached for a fine of $250, as this was the first offense for this establishment within the past 3 years. Do we need a vote on these? No, we don't need a vote on these. But if there is discussion on any of these items as we move through them, please let me know. The second is Casey's Retail Company, doing business as Casey's General Store at 810 North Beach Street. They also furnished alcohol to a person under 21 years of age. A stipulation, guilty plea, and settlement agreement was reached for a fine of $2,500. And this was imposed as the establishment has prior offenses in 2012 and 2014. And so an order for the fine was entered in the amount of $2,500. Discussion on that item? Motion for adjournment, please.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mayor Coos?
Aye. We are adjourned. Before we begin our regular meeting, we do have a little bit of a presentation from Special Olympics having to do with the town's involvement in Special Olympics this summer. I know Representative Dan Brady is here, as he often shows up for these meetings, but showing up as an interested person tonight in this event. Because there's going to be a photo moment in that, I'd like the council and everybody to move forward.
You want to wait till the,
You want to wait till after?
do the presentation? They're going to present something and then we'll.
All right.
I just wanted to, as the mayor mentioned, the town this year, we have strengthened our partnership with Special Olympics, and we were excited this year during the Summer Games that we moved the summer dance for the Special Olympics down here to Uptown. The rain held off for the most part, so we were excited about that. But I'm excited to introduce Jim Fitzpatrick, who is from Special Olympics Illinois, to kick off our presentation.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and we're happy to be here, and we thank you all for this year's efforts. Today is a special day. It marks the 47th anniversary. It's our birthday of Special Olympics, which started in Illinois on this day in 1968. And the cornerstone of that, what started in this state, is in your backyard here in the town of Normal, and you should be very proud of that. And we look forward to our World Games is happening in LA. We're sending athletes from Team USA, 170 countries. This has grown to. We'll be in Los Angeles. This weekend, you can watch the opening ceremonies on ESPN, and we encourage you to do that as our athletes work very hard year-round for that recognition. It's going to be a big event. And so we're going to present you with something that we hope to see in the halls in the town of Normal. We thank you. We want to thank Heather Wagner. We want to thank Joe Telly, Nikki Bruno, Nicole Bruno of the police department. Mark Peterson was a big help. We had meetings for months to accomplish this. The signage was gorgeous, and you really welcomed our athletes, and we can't thank you enough for that. And to thank you on behalf of our 22,000 athletes across Illinois, Drew White here, he's a local athlete from Area 6, and he's a global messenger. And I got to take pictures of Drew, so bear with me, or the office will be very mad. But I now present to you Drew White.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Drew White. I am 22 years old, and I'm a Special Olympics athlete and a global messenger. Today, I want to thank the Normal Town Council for your support to the Summer Games and the Uptown Gold program, and for hosting an inaugural Victory Dance. I am privileged to speak to all of you of this evening to extend our gratitude as you have done your best to bring joy to all the athletes and their families. You are all rock stars to me. My favorite part of the summer dance is to get to meet new friends and dance with all the girls. My favorite part of the Summer Games is to compete and show my skills and the torch run. It gives me pride and joy to watch my fellow athletes enjoying the same things as I do. Simple excitement and joy as we watch the torch pass on and eventually lighting up the Olympic torch. This will not be possible if for us of all as lightning all of you as one of the 21,000 athletes. This will not be possible without all of you. The opportunities and experiences that we do, if it wasn't for people like you, your selfless dedication and commitment, what keeps us going. Thank you for supporting us and for dedicating your efforts to me and all the athletes of Special Olympics Illinois. Have a good night, everybody.
And so if you didn't see it, it was, Mark, I know you were there, but it was truly amazing. And so we wanted to present the town of Normal with a photo of what the event looked like. We have to make it a little bigger next year, actually. We got a little tight. But this is for you all, and thank you so much for what you did for us this year. Thank you.
Awesome.
right, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Good job. Wonderful, thank you.
Some of these weren't as nice when I came out.
I might just add, I think it's appropriate, maybe Heather knows the details. Nikki Bruno couldn't be here today. She's a police officer that heads up our torch run, and as well as the event that has become quite popular called Cops on Top, where our police officers spend the day on top of Dunkin' Donuts and raise money. And I think this year, I believe they raised $7,500 for Special Olympics through that event. And of course, the police department has always been a strong supporter of the torch run, and this year was certainly no exception. So Nicole Bruno also was the chairperson of our employee Special Olympics committee. Heather served on that committee and several other employees, so they deserve much of the credit for the town's involvement in Special Olympics this year, and we hope to continue that in future years.
Call to order a regular meeting for the Normal Town Council for July 20th, 2015. Please call the roll.
Mayor Kus?
Here.
Mr. Fritzen?
Here.
Mr. Preston?
Here.
Mr. McBride?
Here.
Ms. Lorenz is not here. Mr. McCarthy?
Here.
Ms. Gaines?
Here.
We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get into the omnibus agenda, we did have a request to speak on an agenda item tonight. I think the speaker is Valerie Wellen from Wishbone Canine Rescue. I'll just go briefly over the rules as obvious. We like our public comments to address issues that are germane to our agenda. We'd ask you to hold your comments to 3 minutes or so. And as a formality, if you'd state your name and address for the record.
Yes. My name is Valerie Wellen. I live at 1110 South Fell Avenue in Normal. Should I go ahead? Mm-hmm. Thank you for allowing me to speak at City Council. I'm Valerie Wellen. I'm the president of Wishbone Canine Rescue. We applaud you for addressing an important animal welfare issue, that is the existence of local puppy mills and backyard breeders. However, as a dog rescue group, we have concerns about the consequences of your proposed rules. Wishbone takes in many female pregnant dogs and mamas with nursing puppies, and we have many local foster families who give these dogs and puppies a port in the storm when they are at their most vulnerable. Wishbone believes that it is safer and far healthier for the pups to be in a private home rather than in a shelter environment where they would be far more susceptible to illness and disease. Our foster families often take in pregnant moms and whole litters of pups, and until these pups are adopted, which is usually soon after the age of about 8 weeks, these fosters often take on another litter of puppies when the previous litter gets adopted. Your proposed rules, unless they exempt groups like ours, could have a chilling effect on our ability to help puppies, their mothers, and the local community members. Rescue groups such as Wishbone are not a source of the types of problems that are hinted at in the ordinance, and we hope that you would take into consideration our foster care model when designing the rules that are meant to address puppy mills, backyard breeders, and non-compliant or problematic rescue groups. All our dogs are spayed and neutered. We never encourage breeding, as we are well aware of the plight of homeless dogs and cats. In addition, we are doing our best to be part of the solution. One of our programs, it's called the OOPS program, takes on local litters and returns the mother to the owners after us having paid for their spay It is possible that this ordinance is meant to target less responsible rescue groups. Yet we, who play by all local rules, may be punished as a consequence. And then we would just hope that you would consider exempting rescue groups and shelters from your proposed rules, especially those of us who are licensed 501c3 groups and that use licensed foster homes. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure that will come up in discussion as we move forward tonight. We'll proceed to the omnibus agenda, items that are considered routine in nature and will be handled with one vote by this body unless a council member would like to pull an item for discussion. And I would like to be excused from voting on any bills I may have incurred in my duties as mayor. And Ms. Gaines?
Yes, I'm trying to find the number. I do want to pull that one.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, I looked right at it. Thank you. I want to pull aye. Thank you.
I'd like to pull item J, please.
Motion for approval, please.
Move approval. Second.
Please call the, oh, I keep trying to do that. We've got to change your house rules here. Items we're considering tonight are the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of July 6, 2015, and approval of town of normal expenditures for payment as of July 15, 2015. A resolution accepting the low bid and awarding a contract to Autobahn Company Incorporated for the Normal Theater stucco repair project, and that's in the amount of $37,800. A resolution authorizing the city manager to negotiate a contract with Compass Group USA through Canteen Vending to provide vending services to various town facilities. A resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with McLean County for animal warden services. A resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement with McLean County for animal shelter services. A resolution authorizing an employee wellness services contract with Advocate Broman Regional Medical Center. A resolution authorizing the release of executive session minutes. And we have two items that were pulled, so please call the roll.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. Item I is an ordinance amending Section 17.8-26 of the Municipal Code of the Town of Normal regarding the number of animals permitted at a residence. Ms. Gaines?
Move approval.
Thank you. Ms. Gaines?
Well, speaking to what Wishbone Group was saying here tonight, there are some folks in town who have been known to break all the rules, not be very good neighbors, all of those sorts of things. But I am a little bit concerned from their plight as being foster care folks, and they do a nice job. I've had friends who have gotten animals from them, and so I know that they do a nice job. So I guess I'm wondering, is there any way that if someone's a licensed foster parent with this program, that we could have some kind of an addendum to this that would allow for that to go forward? And I know that there's that only 2 litters. I don't know if that would be an issue or not, for some of these foster families. But again, they're little baby puppies that aren't probably causing a lot of issues, but also they're not breeding and they're not trying to make money off of all of this. So I'm just thinking that may be an exception that we really need to look at. You know, I don't know that, you know, we're talking tonight about the county and having the animal warden and all that, but I don't know that they're going to act as the animal police if something happened, so to speak, per se.
Yeah, that's fair to say. And Mr. Wasson may volunteer that tonight. But I don't think, let me just say that, just by way of background, this proposed ordinance is not intended to represent a change in policy, more a clarification. As the legal department was recently looking at this ordinance, they discovered, given the way the phraseology of the ordinance, it did sort of provide a loophole for people that would harbor and maintain puppies that may or may not be from their own dog. They may, you know, the way it was written, you could, I think legally, under the terms of ordinance, keep constant number of puppies, therefore, you know, maybe actually operate a puppy mill or a dog sale business. And we knew that was certainly not the intent of the ordinance. The intent of the ordinance was to allow people who owned female animals, to allow those dogs or cats to have offspring and to maintain them for a period of time. So the legal department attempted to make some changes in the wording of the ordinance to make sure that intent was reflected in the language of the ordinance. So this doesn't represent really a change. It's just kind of tightening up some language that wasn't clear. If you want to, you know, open the door, so to speak, I mean, there are a variety of things you can do. It just makes enforcement difficult. If you're going to allow people to harbor puppies, it's hard to say, you know, are you doing it for a foster purpose, or are you doing it as a business? It's kind of hard to draw that line and draw that distinction, but, you know, if the council wants to liberalize that, that's certainly your prerogative. I mean, the legal department can figure out how to write that up, but it does become an enforcement issue to sort of, particularly if you're focusing on the foster care of puppies as opposed to somebody who's operating a business.
Right.
I don't know, Brian, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, there are a couple of issues we'd have to look at with regards to shelter. We actually have two ordinances that would regulate shelters. One is the one we're talking about today. The other is the zoning code, which allows for, it's defined as kennels, but a shelter would be a kennel under the zoning code, which allows them in business or manufacturing districts, but not in residential districts. So if we were to take a look at the shelter, we'd have to look at both the zoning ordinance and the existing ordinance. One of the other issues with shelters, and I would have to do some more research into the business model. The state regulates foster homes, or they call them foster homes. They don't necessarily have to be a home per se. They're just any entity that takes animals from a shelter. Under the Humane Care for Animals Act, in order to have a license, you can't have more than 4 animals in a foster home. So even the way it's been explained here tonight, we'd have to take a look to see, you know, if you're having a bunch of litters, you can't have more than 4 animals at a time under the state law. So we need to examine the way that these shelters are operating, even under existing state law, in conjunction with anything that we would do here. This isn't meant as, again, it's not meant to get to any specific type of entity. We're just trying to close some loopholes that have arisen over the course of the enforcement of the ordinance.
You know, given the fact that this is an ordinance cleanup, tightening the language, as we said, and I think there's time and room for some discussion between Wishbone Canine and other licensed groups like that. You know, I don't see an urgency to get this done. I think, you know, there's an intent out there that maybe we're not honoring, so it might be worth having a discussion going forward. But before I would ask for a motion to table to a date future, I don't want to stifle any further discussion here. Mr. Fritzen?
Yeah, there was a situation in a neighborhood in Normal within the past several months that came to light that actually went to a hearing that I was familiar with and attended the initial hearing. It was held over because one party wanted some legal counsel, but so if you're familiar with the because I can't give you any more specifics than that to identify, but if you're familiar with what I'm talking about there, I think one of the issues in that was that the homeowner that was harboring animals talked about foster care and as a defense, and I'm wondering how that situation would be differentiated from what was presented here this evening by our person who wanted to present to us. So if you know what situation I'm talking about, what's the differentiation there? Because that's something we'd have to guard against, because that obviously was a mess.
Right. Yeah, went to an administrative adjudication, I want to say back in May. It was a group that said that they were a shelter. The ordinance violation itself was having more dogs on the premises than were allowed. Nothing to do with anything with foster. They were saying they were operating as a shelter at that particular location, and they had more dogs than were allowed at that particular location. There were also some sanitary issues that were brought up in that hearing. So in that particular case, it wasn't so much that they were operating as a shelter and sending dogs off to foster. It was that they physically had too many dogs located on that premises for a residential operation or residential house.
I'm fine with the mayor's, suggestion. I just want to make sure we tighten it up and then open up the door of opportunity for an operation like that, because that definitely is what I think we're targeting here, is to prevent that.
Totally agree with that. Mr. McBride?
Well, I would just echo some of the sentiments I'm hearing from my counterparts here, that I think maybe some more discussion and research is in order, and maybe we can apply a little bit more finesse. But I do think that obviously the intentions are very, very good here. On a separate but related issue, I do know that there had been some discussion of perhaps bringing the town in line with the city of Bloomington, which, if I'm not mistaken, does allow 3 of any pet, and I don't know, perhaps there should be a little bit more discussion on that as well.
Motion to table. To
Second.
date future.
What, second meeting in August, or is that enough time?
Let's have a little more time than that.
September? Whatever.
Yeah, let's say first meeting September.
First meeting in September.
Yeah, thank you.
If
Mr.
we're
Day.
going to amend the zoning ordinance, this will have to go to Plan Commission, so we'll have to make
Yeah.
time for that.
What I think we do, though, is bring this ordinance back with a recommendation, and if it involves changing the zoning code as well, then we would obviously have to allow more time, but we'll hopefully, between now and that first meeting in September, have ample time to talk with Representative of Wishbone and to consider alternatives and come back with some options for you to consider, and then we'll, based upon your decision, then we'll go forward with whatever other ordinance amendments we need to execute.
Great. We have a motion. Did we have a second? Okay. Please call the roll.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The motion is tabled. Item J is an ordinance amending the fiscal 2014-2015 operating and capital investment budget. Mr. Preston?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Just one question for staff here, more of a clarification. The consolidation of 2 different bond funds into the Hotel Development and Fire Station Fund, can I get a little more explanation as to the reasoning behind the consolidation and why those 2 are being merged into one?
Sure. Andrew, you want to?
Really, to be completely candid, we originally set up those funds kind of in a preliminary standpoint, looking at what the bond issue would be, 4.5 for the fire station, or 5.2 for the hotel, and the range review for the fire station contribution. At first, when we decided to do the accounting, we thought, well, we'll separate those into 2 separate, essentially, bond issues per se, and then
Andrew?
spend them.
Could you speak?
Oh, I'm sorry,
having
sure.
trouble hearing.
As I was saying before, we originally set those up as separate funds, thinking that our mindset would be They'd be totally separate from both operations, and they are separate projects. But in the end, we felt the contribution to the hotel was going to be just one expense. It'd come in at 5.1 and go out at 5.1 to the hotel developer as part of our contribution. We didn't feel it needed two funds that had that kind of just one or two transactions. So we decided to go later on in the budget and just combine those. It made for a little more of a complicated process in evaluating the budget changes, but really it's economically no change at all. We just had half the money go in one fund and half the money go in the fund, decided let's go ahead and put it into a single fund and we move forward from there. So it's really just a restructuring of how we decided to pose. There was no deeper thought than saying let's make it more simple on the accounting side.
And they make sense because they're both basically funded through the bond issue. so
Exactly.
it made
The single
sense.
bond issue, separating, doing both of them. At first, we weren't sure if it would be two separate ones or not, so we decided to keep it separate for them and then combined after that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Further discussion on that item? Please call the roll.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The ordinance is approved. We have two items of general orders tonight. The first is a resolution approving a site located in the town of Normal, McLean County, Illinois, to be acquired, altered, and improved by the Public Building Commission of McLean County, Illinois, for a new healthcare facility and leased by said commission to the county of McLean, Illinois.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Have you all understood that? Is there discussion on the item? Ms. Gaines?
I just have a question I was not understanding from this. Is the old sanitarium looking to be demolished?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's a little sad. It's
It
kind of
is.
iconic building.
But it's, a lot of those old buildings, they were built single-purpose,
Right.
and the cost of changing them to a different use to meet current medical standards would be incredibly
Right,
expensive.
exactly.
Further on this item. Please call the roll.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. The resolution is approved. Item 7 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of the Employee Group Health, Dental, Life, AD&D program and implementation of a cost management tools from Benefit Value Advisor and Prime Therapeutics.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion on this item.
The only comment I would have is that year after year, it gets more and more difficult to navigate healthcare plans and benefits. It used to be so simple, and it's getting more difficult, and new federal law is going to make it even more difficult in the future. And so I applaud the work that went into this to try to, I mean, obviously our wellness program was touted in this as a means of keeping our claims down so that we are actually paying, or, you know, our experience is enabling us to avoid an increase.
Right.
And actually offer employees some options that didn't exist before. So it's a very positive thing out of all that difficulty that's imposed on us. It's kind of like, you know, unfunded state mandates and other things like that, you know, higher levels of government impose on lower levels of government, and we scramble to keep budgets balanced and continue to provide benefits that are attractive to employees. And I think sometimes people have a different thought about public employees. I know there's always a lot of discussion these days about public employee pensions and the like, considering the state of our state. But we need to be able to offer good benefit programs to attract good employees. You know, and one of the reasons things work as well as they do in Normal, and I know our employees hear this when we have our gatherings, either, you know, in the summer or in the holiday times or whatever, that the quality of our employees is what helps make the town of Normal run as well as it does. And so it's important to be able to offer these, to continue to offer these, and actually maybe offer some things that suit some people better. But it's not without a lot of work that, as I'm reading through this, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not, there's no way I'm going to vote against this, because there's a whole lot of work in the background on this that some people did to put something together. It's very difficult to do, extremely difficult.
I think it's important to point out, too, Mr. Fritzen, that the private sector is dealing with this issue through their advisors and insurance companies that they deal with. I hear it every time at my renewal that the firm I deal with, they say their workload increases exponentially every year trying to keep up with healthcare laws. Mr. McCarthy.
Just to extend a little bit, a couple of things is for any organization potentially realizing a reduction in claims experience is unheard of, particularly in the private sector, when it's considered among most companies a single-digit percentage increase in your healthcare costs is considered a win, and we're looking at a decrease. That's completely unheard of. And 99% participation in any kind of a program is stunning. And so I want to thank all the employees and staff for whatever you're doing to make those things a reality, is making our job easier to take votes on stuff like this. Applaud all the work, because that ACA Act added so much headache to your plate, the HR plate, for dealing with this. And so thank you to the committee that we read about, who did a lot of that digging and sleeve rolling up to do that. Is an outstanding and Herculean amount of effort, I'm sure. So thank you for everybody that participated in that.
Thank you.
Just if I could add a comment, and I appreciate everyone's comments about the complexity of employee benefits, particularly health insurance. It's one of the reasons why we hire the Horton Group. Mike Wojcik is here with the Horton Group, and you know, they're the experts. Even though Pam and Jenny Keeger, raise your hand, Jenny, in HR have, you know, they do a tremendous amount. There's no way they could keep up with the ever-changing regulatory environment of healthcare. So we need to hire a third party. And it is remarkable. If you look at our health experience over the past 5 years, it's been remarkably good. I think we had 1 year that was a little high, but and that's due, I think, to a lot of employee awareness that, you know, when claims go up, we all pay. And also, I think it's due to our very effective wellness program in partnership with Advocate Broman. It's really been very embraced by employees, and I think it has had an impact on employee health, indirectly on probably claim activity, but more directly on overall employee health, productivity, all those good things you read about. It has made a difference. And so, yeah, I'm really tickled, and I'm really excited about this new program. I think it will be very well received by employees, and I think it's a very responsible approach for us to take from a business perspective. Yeah, thank you for those comments. Appreciate it.
Mr. McBride.
Well, as Mr. Fritzen said, good benefits help attract good employees, and we have great employees here in the town. And as the newcomer here, or one of the newcomers, I'm just extremely impressed with what a priority our HR department places on this, and it's really, it's kind of thrilling, honestly, just to be able to support this in a tiny way.
I know.
Last word, right?
Last word, no. I forgot. In my work, professional life, I spend a little bit of time on this stuff, and from a benefit perspective in the corporate world, most benefit groups are decreasing dollars going into benefits because of what's getting sucked up in the healthcare portion of the benefits. And so HR benefit groups are typically looking at pulling things out of benefits, trying to make it look nice to sell it to the employees. That isn't what's happening here. We're actually keeping or improving our benefits and expanding our healthcare options to 3 that people can potentially save money at. So this is, again, really unheard of, and compared to what's available in the corporate space, this is really, really a great experience.
Further?
Ditto. Ditto.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. That concludes our business tonight. Before taking a motion for adjournment, are there concerns or comments? Mr. Fritzen?
I don't want to miss an opportunity publicly anyway to say something good happened in Springfield this past week, at least sort of good. As a spokesperson for the Bloomington Normal Community Campus Committee, as you know, at this body, and I've had discussions with Mayor Renner as well over the last several months, we were supporting in a strong way as we could responsible beverage service training, looking hopefully to have a local ordinance that would require it in our establishments, and we gave that a shot here and didn't get it done, but we hadn't given up on that. We were trying to retool a little bit and had discussions, like I said, with Mayor Renner to see what we could do in Bloomington. Bloomington actually uses that, has been using that tool in some of their liquor violations to require it after violations, which is a little bit, after the horse is out of the barn, but anything's better than nothing is kind of the way we looked at it. And then they did pass an ordinance where it was applied in a fairly light fashion, I think. Mayor Stockton described it as dipping their toe in the water, and when it came to a requirement for the beverage training. But the news ballyhooed the return of happy hour. There are quite a few restrictions on the happy hour thing. So, but the Illinois Restaurant Association pushed that to try to benefit business, and their benefit that they were touting to the state was that, increased taxes and whatever for localities and whatever. And so they got the happy hour bill passed, which is what most people referred to it as. But in that bill is required beverage service training statewide. It varies depending on the size of your county as to how deep it goes, and there are obviously a lot of details to work out. And I understand that Mr. Karplus is working on that to because it does fall on the local municipalities then to administer that, and not just the server training side of it, but also the happy hour side of it, make sure everybody's complying. But we're as a committee, we are pleased that the beverage service training has made it to a statewide requirement. It was required in Cook County. There were close to a dozen municipalities, I believe, in the state of Illinois that already required it at different levels, and so this will be required statewide now, and we think it's a win-win. It's a type of thing that businesses that obviously are involved in taking on a certain amount of risk in their business. I mean, obviously if you have a license, you're going to have some dram shop insurance, so the industry recognizes the risk that's involved there, but you also want your customers to return safely, so that you can serve them again. And I think having trained servers who can spot potential problems, learn how to deal with potential problems, it's a public safety thing, but it's also a public health thing. And we've talked about health issues tonight and safety issues and everything else. I think it's a win, even though it was something that somebody had the good sense to add to the happy hour. If you're going to get the happy hour, you got to take this. And so we're not thrilled with the happy hour thing, but I think the mentality surrounding happy hours is a little different than it probably was in 1989. People are a little more aware today. Law enforcement a little more strident in carrying out laws, driving under influence laws and the like. So I think the risk of bringing happy hour back probably is a calculated risk, and we got the server training, so we're happy with that.
Great.
I just will add that Mr. Karplus and Mr. Day are analyzing that new statute. It does, you're correct, Mr. Fritz, and there's a lot in there, not just happy hour, and it will change some of our local practices and rules, and Mr. Karplus has already generated a memo for the liquor commissioner on that, so we'll be doing what we need to do to enact those rules locally and begin appropriate enforcement.
Thank you. Mr. Preston?
Thanks, Mayor. I know we talk a lot up here about how much we appreciate our staff and how great a job our staff does. And just one more example of that came a little over a week ago with the Sugar Creek Arts Festival. I know a lot of people in this room attended. I personally did on Sunday, and wanted to give a shout out to Joe Tully and so many of our other town staff who played a part in organizing that and also working it that weekend. Something that really stood out to me when I was there on Sunday, there was some kind of incident. I don't know if it was a patron there was maybe overheated or something because it was a little hot. And as we were walking down Buford Street, there were a couple members of our fire department who were attending to this person, and it was something that I almost had to do a double take as I was walking by, because their attention to this individual was so non-intrusive and so, not at all making a scene, but really attending to the individuals who needed it there. I thought I was just extremely impressed with, if you were focused on the exhibits, you probably would have missed the entire thing, and it was right in the middle of the street. And so, shout out, of course, to members of our fire department, police department, and everybody else who played a big role and do that kind of thankless work every single day. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. McCarthy.
Following on Mr. Preston's, I wanted to thank all the people involved in Sugar Creek again, an excellent event, and the event on Saturday in the street. A number of, probably 6 or 8 residents of Normal came up Saturday night to say they really appreciated the events that are going on in the street. I know we didn't put on the event, but we facilitated those things to happen, and each and every one of them expressed their hope and desire to us to continue to support that kind of people gathering in Uptown Normal, and really appreciated what it went. And it was a much smoother event. I think this second year around, they kind of dialed it in and managed the people a little bit better, and the music was, the volume, the music was a little better managed this time, and it was a really great event.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson.
Thursday, you want to mention Thursday?
Sure. Thursday.
Mayor's reception, Thursday.
Oh, that.
At the Community Cancer Center. I had the opportunity to see it some weeks ago. Sandy went through it the other day, just checking logistics. It is fantastic. Hope I never have to use it, but it's a beautiful facility. I think people will be duly impressed. I think it provide a great environment for the reception, and they will be giving tours of the building as well. I think they're very excited to show it off, so expecting a big crowd.
Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Fritzen?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McBride?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Ms. Gaines?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you. Sally, have you got a moment?
Yeah.
So
I have some.
video for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So all the chatter that's going on here, if your mic is on,
Oh, yeah. We have to cut that out. Why don't you talk to him about that?
because I was hearing some chatter that when I used thing while I was waiting for the video to start. I'm like, I'm sure we all knew that was going on. I started to. First explain to me where that issue was. The town allows
Well, the town allows